Hey everyone, John Henry here from School of Trade, and today we're going to be taking a look at a wave pattern long here on the Dow. Now, the way that this Dow is setting up is a little bit more rotational in nature. So because of that, I'm not going to look for a bigger target. In fact, I'm just going to look for a just kind of all in, all out at that final extension target up there at 254. But the wave pattern itself is setting up really, really nicely. We've got everything kind of lining up well. We're actually pushing into our first target already here. There we go, and we got that target filled. We show the trade there. So we got that target filled, and that happened actually pretty quick. So looking, if we zoom out a little bit, this is why I'm really kind of liking this setup. So we've been rotational pretty much all morning, right? We rotate off the lows, come up to the highs, hit the highs, rotate off the lows, hit the lows, rotate off. You get the idea. We're very, very rotational. So you'd think, okay, well, we're at the highs now. We should rotate back down to the lows. But in fact, what we're seeing is a little bit different. We're seeing a little bit more continuation at these highs. Now, what I mean by that is we're getting kind of this structure that's setting up right here. And it looks just kind of like a range, right? We just kind of ranged out a little bit, and right now we're kind of breaking to the downside first. Well, what that's forming is actually just a wave pattern to the long side. Now, the reason I like the wave pattern to the long side, even though we are a little bit more rotational, is just simply for the fact that we haven't really broken the highs yet. If you look, previously what we like to do is break the lows, then reverse up. Hit the highs, break the highs, then reverse down. We hit the lows, we break the lows. This one really didn't come back down to that previous low, but we still had kind of that little fake breakout, right? You can see that over and over again where we're getting that kind of M with sort of a bigger peak, if you will. Well, up here, we're not getting that yet, right? We have the high, but we don't have that higher high yet before we can start reversing. So that's what I'm looking for. That same structure, we've seen it once, twice, three times already. There's no reason to not expect it to do it a fourth time. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So we'll get our stop to break even here now that we're back up to those highs. And we're just looking for that M with the extended leg to go off. Now, the extended leg, we're at 18,254 right now is our final target. And that's kind of what we're looking for. But, if it does catch a little bit of a deeper pullback first before it gets up there, that's fine. But we do have to be a little bit careful because we're expecting that M formation at the top and then for it to reverse back down again. Everything else in terms of a wave pattern is setting up really, really nicely. We're just in a little bit of a late wave pattern long. So the reason I say a late wave pattern long, if we measure this one up, you can see that the initial wave pattern long happened a little bit earlier, but we never actually triggered, right? So that one's kind of null and void. So the next follow-up one is this secondary box right here. And that secondary box we bounce directly outside of. So it's just a little bit of a later setup than what we're used to per se. But outside of that, everything else still looks fine. So we're setting up that little M pattern high now. And if it does turn down, we didn't get our target. We did come one tick away from our target. So because of that, let's lock our stop in here. And yeah, there we go. So we get stopped out one tick away from our target. So when you come one tick away from your target, don't play with fire. Just get out where you need to. It doesn't mean that we're done going up, but this is what we were expecting. Now we've got that M pattern high where it can start reversing back to the downside. We saw that even down there in the micro view. If we zoom out a little bit more, we had that in a bigger view. We had that in the highs. That's exactly what we're seeing right now again. So there's no reason to not get out if we're starting to turn back around from here. So overall, we took our first target off from our entry, 18,231 up to our first target. That was 11 ticks, 2 off at 11. And then the final target we got stopped out of our runner at 18,245, and that's 14 ticks. So if we add this all up, we took 2 off at 11, that's 22, plus another 28, 2 off at 14. Gives us 50 ticks on the trade, $5 a tick, $250. So a nice quick little move, not a huge amount of profit in terms of, the massive $5,000 winners that we like seeing, but it's only $5 a tick. So can't really complain with that one a whole lot. Beautiful little wave pattern setup. It just didn't do exactly what we wanted it to do. It came one tick away from our target. Because of that, we lock our stop in a little bit closer just to prevent it from collapsing right back down on us, especially since it's doing exactly what we thought it would do. So that's going to be the trade. 50 ticks on the trade, $250. If you have any questions about it, feel free to send an email to School of Trade. Don't forget to check out our trial at schooloftrade.com. And as always, we'll catch you next time.